On the streets of Kabul today, the Taliban celebrated their first year back in power. Their return has ended the war, but instead brought famine. 20 million people face acute hunger, including millions of children. Mothers struggling to feed their babies, filling wards like this one at Kabul's Indira Gandhi Hospital. The Taliban wants the world to lift sanctions imposed on the group 20 years ago. A coalition of Canadian aid agencies also want exemptions to Canada's sanctions and anti-terrorism laws so that aid can start to flow again, something the US and UK have done already.
In Canada, we haven't taken this step yet a year later. And so that's fundamentally what we're asking for.
But the Taliban haven't made things easier by breaking all the main promises they made a year ago when they negotiated the US withdrawal. First, they promised there would be no revenge against those who'd opposed them. Instead, revenge killings have been common.
Women will be afforded all their rights.
Second, they said girls could continue to attend school. That promise was just as empty.
They do not accept.
Taiba Adimadi escaped to Edmonton earlier this year, but stayed in touch with friends back in Kabul who've all been told to stay home.
They are saying that we are afraid of Taliban, we cannot go out, and we are just staying, and the dreams are everyday dead.
The Taliban's third promise was that they would never again play host to groups like Al-Qaeda. As for that promise,
on Saturday, at my direction, the United States successfully concluded an airstrike in Kabul, Afghanistan that killed the emir of Al-Qaeda.
It turned out 2 weeks ago that Al-Qaeda's new leader, Ayman al-Zawahiri, just like the old one, Osama bin Laden, had been living as a guest of the Taliban. The new Taliban have turned out to be just as duplicitous, misogynistic, and oppressive as the old Taliban, and so the world faces tough choices on how to deal with them, whether to deal with them, as hunger grows deeper and another winter approaches.
And then, Evan, you think about, all those people, particularly the 40,000 Canada has promised to resettle here.
Yeah. Well, Adrienne, over the past year, we've seen just over 17,000 refugees actually reach Canada. Some of them still face hurdles, actually, in Canada, including Taiba, who we heard from in this story, people who are still waiting for the documents that would allow them to work, to study, and resume their lives. And the government says there's another 8,000 people still in Afghanistan who are at least partway through the process of being accepted to Canada. In many of those cases, the government says the main impediment is that they have no way to get out of Afghanistan. But we continue to hear stories from applicants who say they're also experiencing problems getting answers from Canada.
What a mess. Evan Dyer in Ottawa, thank you.
Thanks, Adrienne.